Pro Series Event 7. Ronan McCarthy takes on Shaun Storry. Mark Shepherd and Tony Holgate with you for this one. Start of what's going to be a long day of pool, Tony. I think we've got 10 matches pretty much back to back today, playing all the way through to the final of this event later on tonight.
Yeah, and a nice match to start us off this morning. Ronan McCarthy, Shaun Storry. I did watch a bit of these two guys' matches last night out in the arena. Ronan McCarthy defeated Shane Thompson 7-5. That was a funny old game. Ronan was 6-5 up. Had a really good chance, the first chance at the finish. Blew it. Shane Thompson came to the table, relatively an easy finish for him. Blew it. Ronan McCarthy is here this morning, and Shane sort of like, you can imagine, was quite frustrated with himself. Shaun Storry, a little bit of an easier game. I'd say easier, but the scoreline suggested that he beat Luke Sanchez 7-3, I believe. But there's a bit of controversy in the, I think it was the third frame, where sort of the black was over the pocket, and the Shaun had put coloured reds near it. Luke was on the black, and they had to get referee over because Luke didn't want to try and, obviously the line of him to come off the cushion to come down the pocket was blocked, so he wasn't making much of an attempt, let's say, and he was dropping the ball short, so a referee had to come over, and in the end he awarded the frame to Shaun. But that was very early on, and Luke didn't really recover. He was quite frustrated with it, and Shaun sort of sauntered to victory.
Big moments those, because whether or not you win on the first day just really defines your weekend. Otherwise you end up having Friday off, which if you come here sort of for the social side of things is fine, but obviously if you come here as a top pro looking to win the thing, it's a bit frustrating. And because all the other events, the Challenger and Women's Series events, are starting, there aren't loads of practice tables, so if you lose last night you're kind of needing to enjoy the sights of Blackpool and not playing much pool.
How good a shot was that?
Really got into that, didn't he?
He did. He put all his force into that one, did Shaun Storry. Great shot. Coming down and disturbing those two yellows. He's checking that one past in the bottom, which I'm pretty sure it does. And he's got a decent angle on this one into the middle as well. Great shot.
Yeah, to really force that, because the natural angle was kind of going the wrong way, to dig into it so much to overcome that. As we were just saying in the preview out in the arena, he's definitely a man coming back into form by his own very high standards. Didn't have a great end to last season. It's all relative, obviously. It wasn't terrible, but for somebody that's used to being in the winners' enclosure, it's been a while since he had a trophy, but this season already looking considerably better, and came so close last time we were in Blackpool, coming up short against Tom Cousins in the end.
Another nice shot there from Storry. Lovely position onto the yellow at the top. Impressive start.
Yeah, it's always nice when you come back on the second morning. You kind of know that you've got a clear run to the final, which is going to be playing all day today for anyone that does carry on winning.
Well, with the seeds that have gone out already, I mean, there's a lot of players here now that, well, probably everybody now that's left in it will feel that they have a chance of winning it. If you still have a Melling or a Cousins, Jordan Shepherd all sat there, you're kind of sort of looking over your shoulder and eyeballing them, but all those three are gone.
It's obviously hard to pick a winner, but I think if you were to look at the draw, you might conclude that the top half of it is slightly less stacked with regular tournament winners. This match, the pick of this round. The other players in the top half of the draw, as we see Shaun miss.
It looked like he lifted a little bit on that shot there.
Yeah, it was always a little bit tricky, because he was going to have to dig down, obviously, to get position onto the 8 ball. Didn't want to hit it too hard, but just slightly got the timing out of sync.
Yeah, there's a bit of movement there.
What I was going to say, the top half of the draw, Mark Fleming, Dom Cooney, Kyle Cope, Carl Morris, Rob Warren and Cole Bedford are the other 3 matches. Plenty of people there that are potential winners. Dom Cooney's won a Pro Series before. Carl Morris, a former world champion. Rob Warren's always there or thereabouts. But by comparison with the bottom half of the draw, where you've got the likes of Scott Gillespie, Declan Brennan, Craig Waddingham, Stevie Dempsey. That's going to be a very tough half to get through.
Yeah, lots of experience there though. Carl Morris, yeah, former world champion. That was 26 years ago, believe it or not. 1998. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to believe it was that long ago, and it's hard to believe that he's still playing at the top level.
Well, he was very young when he won it. I mean, he's not. What's he? 40, I think he's 43 or 4. I think he's much past that. So
Yeah,
he was about 19 or 20 when he won it.
Yeah, he was the youngest at the time. He may well still hold that record. I don't think.
It's quite funny because when you do see it and you see Carl, you think, my word, he looks like he's still at school.
It's quite something to come back and still be at the top level, though, after 26 years.
Yeah.
And, of course, the same for Ronan McCarthy. He's been dominating the
game. He's
game.
world champion.
Yeah, I mean, it's been amazing. The 2 world titles for Ronan. His career didn't really need anything else to justify how good he was, but it's been the real icing on the cake. Winning 2 world titles in 3 years, no matter who you are, is just a crazy achievement in the current game. He's not gone into either of those World Championship campaigns as anything like the favourite, but just seems to have lifted his game at the right moments.
Then bizarrely, I think these are harder to win than a world title. These are Ultimate Pool Pro events. That's a good hit there from Shaun. Good cue ball as well.
Yeah, they're certainly more stacked in terms of the consistency of the field. This year's world title, I think, was a nice one for Ronan. The 2022 one was a strong field. It wasn't like it was soft by any means, but not all of the big names had travelled over to Ireland that year for that event. Whereas this year, the event was held immediately after the Pro Series in June in Blackpool, so there were a lot of the top pros were still around for it, plus a lot of the international players. So
I think it's Chris Mellon's first one for a while, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think there were a few players that thought it would be a fairy tale for them. Melling was definitely very high up that list. I mean, it's been 21 years since his last world title, which is an incredible statistic because he's continued to dominate the game since then, although he's played different forms other than English 8-ball in that time. Now Ronan's going to have to go to work. Can't be playing any more safeties with the yellow hanging over that pocket.
No, but these reds are nice though. The black obviously passes that yellow up into the top corner as well, so you'd expect Ronan to finish these off.
This is a good warm-up visit really, just a few loose balls. Goes without saying that Ronan doesn't fear anybody, won as much as he has. But obviously he'll be aware this isn't the easiest of draws. Shaun Storry has been a real specialist in Pro Series events over the years.
When Ronan was younger, he didn't fear anybody. He's one of the toughest opponents you could wish to play against. Great money player as well back in the day. Well, to be fair, after a while people just stopped playing him for money. It's just because he's just like ice is running through his veins. He's just stone cold. You don't see a great deal of emotion from Ronan, but he's just such a steady good player. You know, you just do not see Ronan play bad pool.
And that's the bit you can't teach, the being cool under pressure. You can have as much coaching as you like to improve the technical fundamentals. Some people just have that inner calmness.
And it is the world champion who wins the first frame.
Yeah, and what was amazing was that it wasn't like Carl capitulated in any way. It was just the dry breaks that cost him.
Carl was playing the pool of his life. Did all the way through that tournament, you know, round by round, and you kept thinking, you know, Carl Sutton's going to win this, and I firmly believed he would. And I'm sure, halfway through that final, in the back of Carl's mind, he thought, I'm going to win the World Championship, but you just couldn't call it, could you? You couldn't predict what was going to happen, and you know, I felt sorry for Carl because at the end of the day, like you say, he didn't like throw the match away in any shape, way or form. It was just Ronan's just relentless finishing, and you have to say, unlucky with Carl just not getting balls off the breaks.
You've got to feel for Carl generally, because that's happened to him twice now in world finals. In 2016 when he reached his first world final against his good friend Shaun Chipperfield. Chippy was kind of unplayable that year. The same thing happened with Ronan. Overall, Carl has definitely played well enough in that event to win a title. Just sometimes the way it goes though, you do catch people in form at the wrong moment. He's got a problem with the balls at the bottom left hand corner here, but he's got a good ball over the left centre to play into them.
Tell you, I watched a bit last night as well. My little rounds looking at the outer tables. Declan Brennan, see Ronan's fellow Northern Irishman and teammate, he was looking outstanding last night. Especially his rail play, he was phenomenal.
Yeah, he's had a great season. 2 major finals, 1 big title already.
The other one, Stevie Dempsey, he was eye-catching as well yesterday. I wasn't on the. You were on the comms, weren't you, when he came out here and won 7-0 against, was it Lewis Roberts?
Yeah, I think in terms of individual performances yesterday evening, that was the best. Although we saw some good performances. The next 2 matches were great as well. Kyle Cope and then Scott Gillespie at the end. Just a very good standard of play towards the end of our coverage. But yeah, Dempsey was just unplayable. He went for a clearance in the first frame. Lewis broke dry, and I don't think would have been too unhappy with where he left it. One of those ones Dempsey kind of got forced into going for the clearance and just pulled out an absurd finish and then just carried on from there.
Yeah, well, I came in on the last frame when Stevie, it looked like he just messed it up, didn't he? He glued to the ball and he came off the side rail and kicked it back into the middle and finished off the frame.
Meanwhile, how's that for a shot from Shaun Storry? Let's take another look at that. Not going on here. Plays the plant.
Well, he played a brilliant shot in the first. I mean, that's a fantastic shot. He played a brilliant shot in the first frame when he that power screw around the table and kicked those yellows apart, opened the frame for himself, and then fell over at the end.
Ronan felt that he could play that previous shot in a way that didn't leave Shaun an opener, and probably a bit surprised to find he was able to make that plant. There's obviously quite a lot to it, a plant and off the yellow.
Oof.
Well, we've seen a few examples of that already, people playing shots on this table that maybe they feel would have gone on a different table. Let's have a look again. How much of the cushion does he catch on this shot?
Just a little bit jabby that was for me. I think the players are now obviously becoming a bit more aware of how these tables play. That's not going to go. I think it's in the back of their minds now that they haven't got a generous pocket that they had previously on the match table with these new Rasson Apollos. They've gone down very well with the players, I can tell you. And that's not just the professionals now. The challenger players are now playing on them as well out, and he's missed another one. Well, Shaun. Yeah, it's right across the board. Let's say the challenger tiers 1 and 2 are playing, and that was nowhere near. Hit that straight into the rail. When you do a couple of those, it's now at the point where does this stick in Shaun's mind now when he's playing balls near to the rail, because he's now missed 2 in succession.
There were definitely moments yesterday where we saw players playing for doubles when in a different world they would definitely have played for the ball down the rail.
Well, both these shots, the first shot when he missed the ball in the middle, have cost Shaun the frame. He's had first go at the first opening in both frames of Shaun Storry. Ronan McCarthy not needing a second invitation to take this frame, and he now leads 2-0.
It's a lovely couple of days we've been here for. It's actually been a very good advert for being on the seafront in Blackpool.
That looks dry. And it is. This is not going to plan for Shaun Storry at the moment.
It's dry in a bad way as well.
It is.
Split the balls up nicely.
So the man from Northern Ireland back at the table once again. Sure he'll be looking to take the reds. I've been entirely too pleased with that little kick off the yellow. He wanted to bump the yellow out of the way, but he didn't want to sit right behind the 8 ball. He wanted to be able to play that red that's next to it in this shot, which he's not going to be able to. So it'll be the one on the, nearer the top rail.
He's played that fairly well. He wanted to try and get far enough across that he didn't bring the 8 ball into play when taking the ball to the top left-hand corner. Not finished perfect, but in the sense that he's a little bit hampered, but still in decent
If he
shape.
can put this and screw straight into that red, that's sorry, the yellow that's next to the red in the middle, that'd be perfect. Asking quite a bit though. He's done it. Great shot.
Yeah, I mean that couldn't actually have turned out much better because he's landed nicely on the balls at the bottom of the table as well.
Yeah, that's the killer shot there for this frame. Just needs to bring the cue ball back out onto the black spot here, and this is going to be frame over again.
And that's where he's dangerous. His game isn't about the big long potting and extravagant shots. It's all about keeping this kind of tight control.
Clever finisher is what I would call Ronan. You know, he's not running around the table banging everything 100 mile an hour around the place, but it's just these little finicky little touches and clever control. Now, can he pot this thin enough where he hits that yellow full ball and holds for the red in the middle? He wanted to come obviously another couple of ball widths, and he would have been perfect. But if he can't contact that yellow full ball, he'll have to take it in the top corner.
Yeah, I think he's worried he might just come off the edge of the yellow. Is he going to play with a load of side
He
to
is.
try and make that full ball contact? Well, that's a good shot.
Oh, judged to perfection.
That was a much harder shot than it looked.
Really
Playing
was.
with the wrong side effectively just to try and straighten the cue ball up.
Yeah, playing it with loads of side, hit it very thin, so he's like swinging the cue ball into the ball. Impressive stuff from McCarthy.
That's a good finish from Ronan.
He's made a ball. I mean, he doesn't have a big sledgehammer break either. Look at those reds, by the way. My word. You know, he hasn't got a big sledgehammer break, but what he has got, he's got a good technique that he gets the balls all moving around the table, and he generally does make a ball. Just look at these reds, Mark.
This is almost a repeat of what happened in the world title, where suddenly he started making balls off the break and just kept leaving nice finishes.
You couldn't leave an easier finish than this.
No, this is the kind of finish where some players who don't have a tight cue ball can sometimes get themselves out of position, but you just know with Ronan that he's going to keep tight control.
But I don't think it really matters. You're always going to be able to see one of these balls as long as you don't miss anything silly. Dot to dot finish.
Yeah, it's just dream stuff to get left this, isn't it? And the fact that all the yellows are kind of over to the sides of the table, just out of the way, they're not going to come into play.
The thing is, Mark, since Shaun's missed those 2 balls that he shouldn't have missed that were close to the rail, he's not had a shot. He's had a dry break.
I think there have been moments recently where Shaun has felt like he's been unlucky. Things have happened in matches, and I think we all know it sort of adds up in total, but this is going to be another one where he's going to be thinking that his opponent's just getting these nice run-outs, and why isn't he getting these chances?
Ronan's eyeing up, not playing the one into the middle because he's slightly hampered.
Extension, please.
It's one of those because he could play it the other way, but does he want to bother? This is just roll it into the middle.
Yeah, the fact he doesn't do anything makes it easier, even though he is bridging over.
He's missed it. Oh my word. Would you believe it? And that was all because he thought, no, I'm not going to miss it. He certainly considered playing the other red. And what did I say? The finish you can't miss. I mean, but If you could have that finish every time you went to a pool table, you'd buy it, wouldn't you? You'd pay for that. I just can't believe he's missed that.
Yeah, it was a bad miss as well. I mean, you're exactly right. Oh, well, talk of bad misses, goodness. I mean, it wasn't like that was an easy plant, but you can see from his body language he was expecting to get it.
I see Shaun going and sitting in Ronan's chair. It's not to go in his line of vision. Very gentlemanly from Shaun Storry. And Billiards gentlemanly back from Ronan McCarthy to miss another ball. Well.
Well, a match where it had been absolutely flawless from Ronan, suddenly it's turned into chaos from both of the players. And now, this time, these balls are perfect. I mean, well, we've just said the same about the Reds, but surely from this position you can't see Shaun missing.
Turning point.
Well, it feels like it could be, because 4-0 was going to be a long way back. 3-1's not great, but it's a much better spot for Shaun. And also, the fact that Ronan's now missed a second time, I think the first miss to the middle you can put down to, almost a lack of concentration or just getting distracted with something else. But then to follow that up with a second miss, it was a harder ball, the second one, but almost more annoying to miss that one. Well, the best shot there, could have done with access to the full cue ball, but I think he can just get past the red. Perfect angle here, the cue ball's naturally just going to be coming on and off the bottom cushion.
Well, this would be a relieved Shaun Storry. And he gets his first frame on the board and sort of looks to the skies. What am I doing?
Well, no ball, but not the worst leave if you're going to come up dry. Certainly nothing like as appealing a position as when he was at the table in the previous frame. Got himself a bit confused there, suddenly realised he was running out of time.
Well, he could have used his extension, but I don't think he wants to waste it on that, because he wasn't playing any sort of progressive shot.
Especially in a frame where it looks like there is the potential to go tactical. Just wants to keep that extension in his pocket. Looking to get the white just the other side of the 8 ball. I think he really wanted to leave a shot down the table, but Ronan's not going to be tempted. What he can do though is punt the yellow down the table to mean that Shaun can't play that same kind of shot of returning to the baulk cushion. Now we're going to have to play a shot off one of the balls in the bottom half, which is going to be much harder to guarantee a safety. Well, that's the best way to get it safe, just pass a ball and stay at the table. Could have had a more favourable cannon though, it's not turned out too nice what he's got left with here. He's going to play safety off the balls on the right hand side. He doesn't want to bring that yellow into play because that's the only one that's properly tied up at the moment.
Yeah, not a bad shot there from Shaun as Ronan taps the table in appreciation of it. So he's left him absolutely nothing. I think for me, does that red go into the right hand centre that's tucked in next to that yellow? That looks key, because the others, although a bit finicky looking, they are available.
That's exactly what Shaun's coming around to have a look at
yeah,
now.
well, you know, as we look there on the overhead, it doesn't look like he has enough of that red to be able to pot it in the middle. But could he land sort of then, because you could sort of swerve it with a bit of right hand side and force the angle, if you like, squeeze it in. I don't know if he feels he can do that.
Altogether happy with what he's
Could he
left
plant
himself
it?
there.
Could he get through to the red that's over the right hand corner, drag the cue ball back and play the red above that into that that red near the middle? Would it pop from there? I don't know.
Well, good news, bad news. He's opened things up on the left, but tied up one of the balls on the right hand side. If the ball doesn't go directly to the right centre, this is getting a bit fiddly now.
He made a genuine attempt at that double.
We've seen fairly mixed results. The double so far this weekend. Players just getting used to how this table throws the ball off the cushions.
Don't know if the outside yellow of those two that are stuck together there goes into the centre, or is he going to have to take the yellow into the top left? He's just played a containing shot.
Yeah, and he's not contained brilliantly because he's seen access to the ball to the left centre. I think maybe he was going for that pot. I don't know. It didn't feel like there was going to ever leave it very safe with the cue ball in that position. I mean, it's not perfect still because Shaun's got the same problem where he's gone about this. He's obviously got some concerns about access to the ball to the bottom, to the right centre.
Hello. That's one way to move it.
Wow.
You've got to be kidding me.
How has he made that angle off
his face.
The jaw of the left centre?
Yeah. This that's incredible. His one problem ball is suddenly now not a problem via that bizarre shot you've just seen. Here we go. Well.
But casual in the end.
Yeah, it was sort of, he just went into exhibition mode there for a couple of seconds, Shaun Storry. Tucks the cue ball behind the red at the bottom here, I think. Yeah, good shot. No other shot though, really, so...
I think for a moment he wanted to go for a clearance just because it was going to be such an extravagant finish, but knew that wasn't the right shot.
You see, Ronan here not only does he have to get at the snooker, he's got to get the cue ball safe as well, or pot. Oh, they're all at it.
Oh, the ball's flying in from unlikely places all over the table at the moment.
Have we got that catalogue that you have of crazy shots? What page is that one on?
It's quite deep into the book, I think. That's a pretty advanced shot. He's going to have to play another shot though.
Well, we've seen it all in this frame. He's made a cut and now he does have himself in top-notch position. Just that one yellow that's on that rail, and we now can say that with justification that these are now tough balls. I think he tries to move that. I'd rather move that ball off the rail and try and kick it over that middle bag. He's got two yellows there to use it, Mark.
I mean, this is a real change in the game, isn't it? Because previously you'd have said with the ball slightly off the rail like that, if you just drop in behind it and play at pocket weight, you're a strong favourite to pot it. As you rightly say, that's not the case anymore.
When he's played it well, that'll do him. He's got the snip into the corner here with his yellow. Natural angle now for the cue ball to go behind the red that's at the bottom of the table, off the two cushions and into the centre of the table. And then the frame will be at Ronan McCarthy's mercy. Just skimmed that red there, that yellow, didn't it?
Well, this is going to be a big finish, starting with that big fluke.
Stop the white dead, really, because you just want to clip that yellow in and bring the cue ball back to the side rail for the black, so he doesn't really have to pull it all the way over. That's perfect. Nothing to really do with the cue ball, it's just manage the pot. He's checking his angle. And that's just about perfect now for Ronan. And this 8-ball to restore his 3-frame cushion.
Seen a couple of turning points in the last couple of frames. Ronan should have won the last frame, but he shouldn't really have won this one.
Not quite so much power into that break.
No, it didn't seem to get a great reaction from the pack. The balls have sort of split up, but not the same explosion you sometimes see.
No. And a dry break for McCarthy.
Red balls in play.
So red ball's the choice for Shaun. 3 frames behind once again. At the moment it's okay, he's got enough frames and enough time to play with, but both are running a bit short. He's played some okay stuff in this match, Shaun Storry.
He's played some fabulous shots from the first frame, but he's made some big errors as well, you know, in the missing department, which you wouldn't expect from a player of Shaun Storry's calibre. If he can get this finish, he's still in this match. There's no question. You know, it's big stakes now. This is for a place in the quarter-final. You know, we're approaching the business end of event 7.
And that's definitely, once you get to the quarter stage, when you start thinking it could be your title.
Well, it's with the players that have gone out. You know, you're not thinking, oh, I'm going to run into Tom Cousins or Chris Mellon or Jordan Shepherd. And that's just to name those 3, but, you know, there's plenty more that have come. John McAllister, Luke Gilbert, you know, these are all event winners. They're all out. All out early doors. Josh Kane, he's out, you know. Some big players.
Elsewhere in the top half of the draw, Cole Bedford is 5-3 up on Rob Warren. The winner of that match will play the winner of the one that we're looking at. Carl Morris 4-2 up on Kyle Cope at the top of the draw. Dom Cooney 3-2 to the good against Mark Fleming.
I made a comment yesterday about when generally we're talking about the new table, and because they're a bit tighter now up the rails, I said, I'll tell you, man, that hasn't won a tournament for a long time, but it's going to suit him, and it's Carl Morris. You cannot rule him out on this table.
He's a guy that you can just never really rule out generally. He can go missing for a while and not seem to be in great form, but just has that tenacity. Can just suddenly turn up when it matters.
Well, he was one of the players that was here Wednesday, and he took plenty, you know, he was straight out onto, as soon as the tables had been put up on the outside arena, you know, he said, am I okay to practice on them? And, you know, the balls were there. He said, yeah, carry on. Yeah, Carl Cup knocked out Luke Gilbert and Sean Chipperfield. So he's not had an easy run to get to where he is. Not that there is any easy runs here. Let's be quite clear about that. But it's certainly more favourable draws that you can have.
Yeah, it's helpful sometimes if you can just have a slightly softer first round draw just to get yourself in. He definitely didn't have that playing Luke Gilbert first.
When you get to this level, I mean, you know, this is the elite, this is the top of the game. All these players can do all the same. You know, there's a couple of players that can produce shots that are just unbelievable. You know, like your Chris Mellons, Tom Cousins. But it comes down to levels of consistency. That's what they can all play brilliantly, but some play brilliantly for longer than others, and that's where you look at it. You know, Tom Cousins very rarely doesn't play brilliantly. So does, you know, the same with Chris. So you need to catch them on a day where it's not, you know, they're not at 100%. And then there's other players that, you know, that half the time they'll play brilliantly and the other half they're not. And that's where it really comes down to, and that's how you get your ranking list, really.
Yeah, it's almost percentage of the time you're playing well that determines that ranking list. When he was playing so well in the first season of Ultimate Pool back in 2021, when he finished second of the rankings, that was exactly the case for Shaun Storry. It just seemed like he had that flawless consistency. He was bringing his A game to every match. What he has got is a very good B, C and D game. He's not somebody that necessarily plays well all the time, but just seems to have a knack for winning even when he isn't.
Yeah, another thing, he's gone wide. Another thing is with these rules, so the international rules, you know, there's no more of these 2 shots, and you don't get these tactical battles, although there is a tactical side to these rules, yes, but in the old rules, you'd have players, let's say, that weren't having a good day at the office potting-wise, and they could clam up a frame. Think, right, I'll sit here now, make you do all the donkey work, and see if I can pick off little chances here and there. Almost like football, I'm going to put 10 men behind the ball and sit here. You can't do that. There's nowhere to run and hide in these rules. So if you're having an off day, you're going to get found out very, very quickly.
Yeah, and that makes it the more entertaining to watch.
Absolutely.
It becomes a purer test. Quite the positional shot that Ronan was looking for, but he's still got this option top right. The ball obviously tied up on the right hand side cushion. That's going to be his main challenge. May just decide to leave that till the end and play it as a double.
Yeah, it's a funny one, isn't it, Mark? Does he play this yellow off the red into the middle just to make it easier position to get on there? You don't want to leave it till last either. You're not going to be wanting to have to hammer that ball up the rail to get the cue ball onto the black.
I was going to say, does he play that in a way where he gives some chance of the red hitting the yellow? Knew he wasn't guaranteed to, and if he didn't, it was going to go out of the way at least.
No, he wouldn't have been trying to. I think it was just, you'd have had to hit it way too thin. I think the knuckle of the middle would always catch it. And quite rightly, he's going to take this ball on now. Big shot here for Ronan. No way, that's not going to go. Slight overcut. He's hung it. Half a chance now for Storry. You feel he's going to have to play the red that's nearest to him, but he's not. He's playing the cut into the top corner. Well, it's a good shot. He's played it to pot and go off the black and knock in Ronan's yellow, so he's played the combo, but he's the wrong side of this red. Now then, we know you can hit them hard into these new middles, but can he generate enough power? He's going to play the double. Has to. I don't think he can generate the power to get back around the table the other way. Is he covering the black? No, he's not. And once again, okay, it was only a half a chance, but it has gone missing. And Shaun Storry sort of resigns himself to the fact that he's looking like 5-2 behind as McCarthy gets ever nearer that finish line.
Yeah, it's tough going right now for Shaun. He's nicking the odd frame here and there, but struggling to really catch properly up. Good chance this for another 3-frame lead.
That's perfect. Just runs this in, cue ball off the bottom rail and back up the table. Black in the top left, 5-2 McCarthy.
Match clock is ticking down, 11.5 minutes, so looks like we're going to be playing at least a portion of the match under the shorter 15-second shot clock that kicks in at the 10-minute mark. much easier when you get into that last 10 minutes. If you've got a lead, you just feel so much more comfortable. The other guy just has to chase after stuff.
Great player, Shaun Storry, really is. Just now and again, just gets into these sort of you know, finicky matches where, you know, he's just a bit scruffy in it. You know, and it sort of peters out into, you know, probably a disappointing event, because he has been playing well. He wouldn't be in the last 16 if he's not playing well, but he'll be disappointed, you know. And he was very jovial this morning. I was having a chat to him before he went out. He was in fine fettle, confident and jokey, laughy, and it's sort of just not gone his way thus far, but it's not over yet.
No, and Ronan's experienced enough to know exactly that. But it is him at the table, so first chance to get onto the hill. I feel like a 6-2 lead would almost be the match won, given the time that will be remaining at that point. This is going to be the key shot.
Great double there from McCarthy. Walloped it in. This red goes down into the bottom left. Doesn't have to do too much with the cue ball, just wants to bring it out off that rail. Well, I am surprised. I'm mystified.
That's a very odd choice of shot, isn't it?
Not often you pull a face mark, and you pulled one then as well. I'm glad it wasn't just me. I thought it might.
I mean, I think the red to the bottom left was quite tight
goes
past the yellow, but it clearly had at least half a pocket.
Nothing to do with the cue ball. You just come back off the rail. You've got the choice of the 3 reds.
15-second shot clock in play.
Well, everything's going on now. 15-second shot clock in play, so whatever happens is going to happen quickly from this point onwards.
We don't want to knock the. He's put one yellow over the one middle and push another red over to the left-hand side. So that's 2 outcomes he didn't want in the one shot. Lost a turn coming here, I would have thought.
Lost a turn.
Yeah, that had to be the shot. If the cue ball was higher up the table, could have considered going for the combination, but not from where he was.
Storry opting for the safety, played it well.
Crucial that he stayed in line and didn't drift over to the left-hand side.
Yeah, Shaun just wants a clear pop at a yellow.
Extension, please.
You know, and if he can get this frame, you know, 2 behind it, then you're breathing down Ronan's neck a bit. Ooh. He's left it slightly awkward. He can play the plant down into the bottom right. But how close is that red to the yellow, though? Pot them both.
Extension, please.
Can he go into them now? I think he might try. He has done. He doesn't want to knock it too close to the rail. That's okay. The problem he's got, though, is getting the right angle on that yellow into the middle. I feel he might have to go and play the one down the rail next. He's got enough space. When you look at it from our view, you think he's going to have to come and leave himself a cut. He's done okay. That's a great shot. Perfect angle.
This has been the pattern of this match. Ronan keeps going ahead, but Shaun's just about hanging around close enough that he's still making a match of it.
Yeah.
5-3 with 7 minutes remaining is a different equation as well. Like, you definitely feel comfortable if you're in Shaun's seat that you've got plenty of time to get into it.
I just feel Ronan missed a trick there.
At the tournament, well, we saw a lot of close matches, didn't we? On
Yeah.
the first day, it seemed like it was comeback central.
Yeah, absolutely. They followed a pattern, didn't they? Somebody went to sort of like 3-0 and then it was 3-all. It was just following the same pattern, match after match after match. It almost looked like it was fixed. But anyway, Shaun Storry with another opportunity. If he can get this one on the board in a match that you feel he's never been really, he's never been out of it, but he's never been in sort of any control. He's missed quite a few balls.
No, I mean, you can make a case for saying he's almost going to be the happier player with the 5-3 scoreline, as silly as that sounds. And certainly if he can get it back to 5-4, feel like he's the one in the ascendancy. And he's got a good chance to do that.
But he's not looking dejected. This is the thing, his tail's coming up because he knows he's, after winning that last frame, he can see light at the end of the tunnel. And I'll say one thing, for when you haven't got much time at the table, you haven't got any time to think about negative things, you've just got to get on with it, and I think that might help.
Yeah, it takes the pressure off. You also sometimes hear players say that it takes the pressure off in the sense that you're never really embarrassed by your performance under the 15-second shot clock because everyone can see you're rushing, so you're not second-guessing if you're playing the right shot.
You've got your excuse.
Yeah, exactly. Poor players love an excuse.
Yeah, I had a book of them.
So ended up probably having to take these last two balls the opposite way round from what he would have been hoping, and as a result has now got a difficult shot to play. Oh, how well has he played this if he goes past the 8
it's been
ball?
unlucky. Even landing so close to the black ball as well. If he had another ball's width away from it, he could manufacture some sort of shot, but he's having to come.
Loss of 10.
So just to explain what was happening there, it was a touching ball, so he thought he could play off the yellow and try and make something happen, screw back into the 8 ball. I mean, he knew that was going to be tough. He's played a couple of real sort of exhibition style shots already in this match, hasn't he? Not something you necessarily always see from him in a pro series. It was difficult because with the 8 ball tight to the cushion like that, he was going to have to hit it absolutely perfectly. It was obviously the shot before that had got him into the trouble.
Ronan opting for the safety, didn't want to take on the plant. Storry now going to try and bend round this yellow and play the black up into the corner. He's not hit it.
Foul.
Well,
it's a big miss. It would have probably been frame away either way, but the ball in hand helps.
I think he's playing safe again. I don't think he wants that black up that rail, and he doesn't want to give him any Shaun an opportunity by taking the finish on missing the black up the rail and gifting the frame to Storry. He'd rather Shaun has a few flashes at this, knocks it into open play, but you are running the risk that if he knocks it in, and some of the shots that we've seen in this match, you wouldn't rule it out.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he would have rather Shaun had hit it off the last shot. Shaun's going to try and play it gently enough that he doesn't bring it into play.
But then he's got to be mindful of, like, we've got 3.5 minutes. I don't know, it's a funny one, isn't it? And that's it now. You're going to see Ronan take these on.
The wily old campaigner has found a way. I mean, the other thing, of course, about playing that series of safety shots was that it was wasting time, which is to Ronan's advantage, particularly if he goes on to win the frame, because a 3-frame lead with sub 3 minutes is going to be massive. We're not playing with golden breaks in this pro series event.
Ronan's got breaks as well, so even with one break, it's taking up some time. With Ronan's break while the balls are running around the table, the clock's running. So you feel that this really looks like the match for Ronan McCarthy. I can't see a way back for Shaun Storry with what's left on the clock, and this is going to be 6-3. McCarthy on the hill.
You can see him just wasting those extra few seconds. Well, the frame that had quite a lot going on towards the end, but Ronan McCarthy doesn't care how he won it. He wins it to get within 1 of victory, and probably won't even need to get to that winning point of 7 frames. The 6-3 lead could be enough. That'll
do him, really. I think I'll be having a towel in after McCarthy McCarthy's visit.
Yeah, he can go for this clearance knowing that even if he doesn't get it, it doesn't really matter. Potted a couple of reds off the break.
Yeah, use the extensions. That's just killed any sort of hope, and it was pretty bleak anyway for Shaun Storry.
He's done the right thing though. I mean, you do see strange things happen at the end of matches. Ronan doesn't want to.
He was actually waiting for the beeps then as well, Ronan, with that shot.
Yes, we'll go for the clearance now. Knows he's won the match. There aren't many times at a pool match. In a snooker match, sometimes you can be far enough ahead that you know you've won and you have the sort of victory lap. It's not very often in pool that this situation presents. Knows he's won the match, so this is effectively just a bit of exhibition stuff for the last minute and a bit.
Well, might as well take out the finish now. It's a really good finish as well. We're playing with plenty of side with that shot there to hold for this red. Great control.
Yeah, it's been going back to what he was doing at the beginning of the match where we were hyping up his positional play.
Well, this black for a 7-3 victory for the man from Northern Ireland, the world champion, Ronan McCarthy.
Very good indeed from Ronan McCarthy. Shaun Storry, to his credit, made a match of that. There were moments when it looked like he could lose that match quite comfortably. He hung around in there, and up until the last 3 or 4 minutes, there was still the chance of a Storry comeback, but ultimately Ronan just had a bit too much at the end.